Welcome to RCAM. I'm your host Ryan, and thank you for tuning in today. I'm sorry for the delayed start. It's having some technical issues, but I think we got it resolved. So we're just going to jump into this today. We are going to be talking about some of the vitriol and backlash pro-lifers have been getting on Twitter, and conservatives consistently taking the pro-life vote for granted, and how that is a massive mistake, because it is. Make no mistake, that is a mistake. You need the pro-life vote, you need the Christian vote, and not taking us seriously can pose a problem because they make up a large portion of the voting bloc. So I want to kind of get into some specifics with this story. So it kind of started off a couple days ago when Lila Rose, who is the founder of Live Action, made a response to this video that we're going to play. And we'll play it, and then we'll kind of get into the meat of it.
Democrats made the case this week and beyond this week that Donald Trump, if elected, will impose a federal ban on abortion if he wins. Now, Donald Trump says he won't, but can you commit, Senator, sitting right here with me today, that if you and Donald Trump are elected, that you will not impose a federal ban on abortion?
I can absolutely commit that, Kristen, and Donald Trump has been as clear about that as possible. I think it's important to step back and say, what has Donald Trump actually said on the abortion question, and how is it different from what Kamala Harris and the Democrats have said? Donald Trump wants to end this culture war over this particular topic. If California wants to have a different abortion policy from Ohio, then Ohio has to respect California, and California has to respect Ohio. Donald Trump's view is that we want the individual states and their individual cultures and their unique political sensibilities to make these decisions, because we don't want to have a nonstop federal conflict over this issue. The federal government ought to be focused on getting food prices down, getting housing prices down, issues, of course, where Kamala Harris has been a total disaster. So I think Donald Trump is right. We want the federal government to focus on these big economic and immigration questions. Let the states figure out their own abortion policy.
Let me just follow up with you a little bit on that point, because I've been talking to Republicans, including Senator Lindsey Graham just last week, who've made it very clear that if Donald Trump is elected, if you are elected, they will continue to press this point. Senator Graham said to me, I'm going to keep saying that there should be a federal ban. If such a piece of legislation landed on Donald Trump's desk, would he veto it?
Well, I think it'd be very clear he would not support it. I mean, he said that explicitly. Yeah, I mean, if you're not supporting it as the President of the United States, you fundamentally have to veto it. So he would veto a federal abortion ban? I think he would. He said that explicitly, that he would.
Wow. All right. So here's one of those things, like, if you actually believe that life begins at conception, if that's what you believe, then it makes no sense to not advocate for a total, complete ban on abortion. If you believe that babies are literally being murdered in the womb, then this is the only logical and consistent position. So I think these people got to make up their minds on this topic, if I'm being honest, because they keep trying to play both sides, and in the end, they're not going to win over leftists, and they're going to alienate pro-lifers in the process. Because why? This isn't them just being soft on abortion or being or trying to, straddle a line. This is them actively saying that if they had the opportunity to ban it, they wouldn't, which is really a slap in the face to pro-lifers. It would have been better if they didn't say anything at all, and just consistently said, well, let's leave it to the states. Let's let each state decide what's best for them. But no, Vance here said basically that Trump has explicitly said that he would veto an abortion ban if it was presented to him. So we've been seeing consistently from the Trump administration, Trump himself, them trying to go left on abortion, which, again, I think it's really foolish. And now you have one of the most prominent pro-lifers
Democrats made the
speaking
case.
out against it, saying that if you don't stand for pro-life principles, you don't get pro-life votes. And she's 100% right. Yeah, you're going to lose pro-life votes because who are you pandering to? Are leftists? Pro-choicers? What? You think you're going to win them over Kamala? You think you're going to out-abortion Kamala? No, you're not. So it doesn't make any sense to try this even politically. It's stupid. It's just a mistake. Now, in response to this statement, Lila Rose, which I really respect her because I actually think she believes what she says. I actually do believe she thinks that abortion is murder, even at the throughout all stages of pregnancy, and that taking a human life is wrong in any circumstance. And she is principled, and so she made this statement, and then the gloves were off on Twitter. I mean, people started dragging her. And it first started with Ashley St. Clair. I'm not a fan of Ashley St. Clair. She is one of these people that claims to have conservative values, but she's really not conservative at all. She's more libertarian, but she has latched onto the conservative movement. She was, recently, or not too long ago, featured in a scantily clad calendar that was being used to sell beers to conservative dads, which is just disgusting. So these people don't even really know what it means to be conservative. So I take what she says with a grain of salt, but she does have influence, and other people take her seriously. So Ashley St. Clair wrote, the most prominent voice in the pro-life movement is actively calling on voter suppression because she does not think Trump is pro-life enough. Well, can you tell me how exactly it's pro-life to veto a ban on abortion that would directly save the lives of babies? Can you translate that to me? Because that doesn't make any sense. It sounds like he's not being very pro-life. That's what it sounds like. That doesn't sound like a pro-life position. That sounds like a position where you would allow babies to die if given the opportunity. That's not pro-life. That is pro-abortion. That is pro-baby murder. So let me be clear, there's nothing more evil than calling for voter suppression in the most consequential election. Voter suppression. She's not calling for these people to be blocked from going to the ballot box. She's not calling for these people or for social media companies to block these people from information. She's not doing anything to actively prevent people from going to the polls. She's stating her beliefs that if you don't appeal to pro-lifers, you're not going to get their votes. And you're not. That's the truth. It may hurt your tummy, may not make you feel good, but that's the truth. So, yeah, I agree that the election is consequential, but so is preserving the life of our most vulnerable. That's of massive consequence. If we don't stand for life, then what are we standing for? How are we any different than the left? And save me the hysterics, the opposition is literally performing abortions in a bus in the parking lot of their convention. Yep, and maybe we will in 10 years if we don't stand by our principles. This woman and her organization have simultaneously taken millions of dollars that should have been used to give new mothers diapers, formula, and help to put five-star and help to put on five-star luxury galas and pay their friends. They claim they can waste millions on flashy productions because their cause is educational. These are severely bad actors and do not deserve a platform, let alone millions in donations. Do not listen to these people. Vote and vote like your life depends on it, because it does. What about the babies' lives? Don't their lives depend on it? And another thing, let me read one more tweet. Lila Rose, the most prominent voice in the pro-life movement, is telling you not to vote because Trump isn't principled enough, while she pays herself $250,000 a year and uses $14 million in pro-life donations to throw luxury galas plus pay for her podcast appearances. And she actually breaks down the numbers. I think Lila takes home like $276,000 a year, which, if I'm being honest, I actually thought that was pretty modest. If she's raking in $14 million and she's only paying herself, $276,000, I think that's actually modest. I think she deserves more for the work that she does, if I'm being transparent with you. Being one of the most prominent and most influential pro-life voices in the movement, yeah, I think she deserves a little bit more. And as for her not being a crisis pregnancy center, which is basically what Ashley St. Clair here is suggesting. So she could have used the money for for mothers, diapers, and formula, and to help. Well, let me explain something to you, Ashley. She is not a crisis pregnancy center. Now, I'm sure she supports crisis pregnancy centers, but her organization is not a crisis pregnancy center. It's they launch investigations and they make video content for social media to help change minds and educate people about abortion. That's what they do. That's their mission, and they are fantastic at it. Now, basically what Ashley St. Clair here is saying is that so I guess here's a good comparison. She's asking an institute for cancer. She's getting mad at like an institute for cancer for not caring enough about heart disease. It's not that they don't care about heart disease. It's that they have a different mission. This same principle applies with live action. It's not that they don't care about mothers or helping mothers. They have a different mission. This movement is a big movement filled with lots of people tackling this issue in different capacities. You got people calling for total abolition. So you got the abolitionists. You got people lobbying politicians. You have people like Lila Rose making educational videos and launching investigations, and yes, hosting galas to connect with her donors so that she could secure more money, so that she can pour more money and effort and time into videos to support the pro-life movement. Then you have other people, Christians, praying outside these clinics. Are you going to get mad at Christians who pray outside the clinics for not doing more? Like each person has a role, so to pigeonhole her and say, she's not pro-life enough because she's not a crisis pregnancy center is ridiculous, because she never claimed to be that. So you're getting mad at her for something she never claimed to be. She's been exactly on mission. That's what her organization does. So it's really dishonest, in my opinion, and pretty disgusting that she's leveling these accusations at Lila, who is an absolute sweetheart, who is doing her damn best to stand up for life, and that includes challenging the presidential candidate, or the Donald Trump, who's the candidate for president. And he needs to be challenged. He needs to be pressured. He's so busy placating to leftists and pro-choicers that he's completely forgotten about the core constituents that support him and what matters to us. Isn't he supposed to represent conservatives? I'm sorry, Ashley, you're a libertarian. He shouldn't be pandering to get your vote. I know he is. I find it ridiculous, but he shouldn't be. Now, Lila responded, or made this statement. There's a crucial conversation happening right now about protecting children and political strategy. We are pro-life activists. What should our response be when Trump repeatedly takes step after step back from what it means to protect innocent preborn lives? To the point of supporting abortion pills and vowing to veto abortion bans. It is wrong for Trump. it is wrong for Trump supporters to demand that pro-life activists be endlessly loyal to Trump in response to repeated betrayal. Yeah. At what point do we support him no matter what? Like, if he becomes indistinguishable from the leftists, at what point do we stop supporting him? You know, would you guys be making these same arguments if he's like, you know what, you know, let's keep a portion of the border wall open so that some illegals can get it. Are you going to support him then? Or what if he's like, let's do a little bit of socialism? Would you support him then? I suspect probably not. What if he called to, you know, ban certain guns, certain firearms? Not all of them, but some of them. Would you still support him? I suspect many of you wouldn't. So it's really obnoxious to me that we can't take him to task on this without being demonized. So she continues, expressions of disappointment are not enough. Disappointment is not being counted at the ballot box. The currency and language in this season is votes. Trump has plenty of opportunity to still win pro-life votes, and it will only help his campaign. I want Trump to win as a pro-life candidate, but let's be clear, Trump winning as a pro-abortion candidate is a loss for the pro-life movement. And I'll be the first to say this, my mind can change, because right now, I do not feel comfortable voting for Donald Trump in this election because I am not confident that he's going to do everything humanly possible to stand up for the lives of the unborn. That's a very serious issue to me. And there are other things that maybe I can ignore, but this is one of those things that is a key issue for me. Because it tells me a lot about your character. If you are not willing to stand up for those who can't stand for themselves, then what are you willing to stand for? You know, if you are not willing to stand up for the least of these and fight on their behalf and give voice to the voiceless, then how can I trust you to represent my voice when you're already faltering to appease people who don't care about you? Who don't care about your politics, and who won't vote for you. They're not going to vote for you. They have a pro-abortion candidate. Her name is Kamala Harris. They will vote for her. Stop trying to pander to them and focus on the people who helped get you elected. Given the current situation, we have two pro-abortion tickets. A Trump win is not a pro-life win right now. Pro-lifers will need to challenge both leaders either way. We will only help Trump by sounding the alarm. Trump is losing pro-life votes regardless of what I say because of his own actions. Yes, that's correct. Kamala Harris supports abortion up until birth, unrestricted and tax funded, of course. Harris does not deserve the pro-life vote, and we'd be foolish to say that she does. But this does not mean Trump should not be challenged with the truth. We will continue to speak the truth and demand better from Trump, the Trump campaign, for the sake of innocent babies who cannot speak for themselves. Fear cannot keep us from doing and saying what is right. We are 2 months out from the election. It's not too late for Trump to change course. Yeah. Then Ashley chimes back, calling Trump a pro-abortion ticket when he did more than any president in history and a hell of a lot more than your multi-million-dollar scam organization is laughable. You are the Joel Osteen of the pro-life movement. Vote Trump in November. We have country. I actually think I do not like this woman. I do not like her at all. I don't know why she is so embraced by conservatives because there's really nothing conservative about her. She's okay with a little baby sacrifice to win. And I find it abhorrent. And she responded, Ashley, you repeatedly lied about me and my organization. Appreciate you and welcome good faith discussion. She's not being good faith. With pro-life activists like Allie Beth Stuckey, Seth Dillon, Liz Wheeler, who have different positions on strategy, but your ad hominem attacks and refusal to engage my actual position here do nothing to win people over the candidate that you support. You've also indicated that the pro-life issue is not one that is important to you. You said you are rather libertarian on the issue of abortion. Yeah, so why should we take seriously anything that she says? I hope that's not true. I hope you support fully banning the murder of children. I hope that you support a pro-life Trump. Could you please ask President Trump to stop supporting abortion and instead support life? It may help him to hear from a passionate and influential supporter like you. She was a lot more gracious than I would be, if I'm being completely honest. I would not have the same degree of grace as Lila Rose, but that's why she's Lila Rose. She has a little bit more grace than I do. Now there is this clip that's surfacing about Trump thinking that 6 weeks is too short of a time for abortion, and he thinks that well, we'll play the clip and you can discern what he's saying.
Everyone does. I think everyone Roe, does, yeah.
And you want abortion to be a states' rights issue. In Florida, the state that you are a resident of, there's an abortion-related amendment on the ballot to overturn the 6-week ban in Florida. How are you going to vote on that?
Well, I think the 6 week is too short. It has to be more time, and so and I've told them that I want more weeks.
So you'll vote in favor of the amendment?
I'm voting that I am going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. Look, just so you understand, everybody wanted Roe v. Wade terminated for years, 52 years. I got it done. They wanted it to go back to the states. Exceptions are very important for me, for Ronald Reagan, for others that have navigated this very, very interesting and difficult path.
So it sounds here like he's folding, like he wants to, wait longer, give people more time to murder their babies, and that he's going to vote against this. And he was taken to task on this statement right here. Lila had made a post about it. Trump is embracing abortion on demand and testing his base. He just came out for universal IVF. Yeah. Well, I don't get why he's doing this. So now he wants us to fund IVF procedures. He wants government-funded IVF. Why do we have to do that? I don't understand. We don't have to fund this. But now you're going to further put more of a tax burden on American citizens to fund something a lot of them don't agree with and don't support. And by the way, IVF for who? Just mothers who are sincerely trying, who can't conceive? Are we also going to do IVF for homosexuals who want to have a baby and use women as surrogates? Are we going to do that? I suspect that would probably be included in that. So you open Pandora's box for just regular moms. You're going to open it up for everybody. Matt Walsh actually had some interesting comments on this. So he said Amendment 4 in Florida, which Trump was just talking about, will enshrine a right to murder a child up until the moment of birth. It is an abject evil, radical leftism at its most extreme and bloodthirsty. Trump needs to make absolutely clear that he will vote against it, which he didn't. Aligning with Planned Parenthood and the radical left to defend infanticide would be not only morally abominable, but politically suicidal. It totally demoralizes and alienates your base for the sake of appealing to people who won't vote for you regardless. This is an easy... Yes, exactly. They're not going to vote for you anyway. So it makes no sense. Now, I will say this. There is an update on Trump's position here, and it's good. But I don't think he would have arrived here without people challenging him on it. I just don't. Let's play the clip because news broke of him voting no on this.
With that right from the early primaries. When I heard about it, I disagreed with it. At the same time, the Democrats are radical because the 9 months is just a ridiculous situation where you can do an abortion in the 9th month. And, some of the states like Minnesota and other states have it where you could actually execute the baby after birth. And all of that stuff is unacceptable. So I'll be voting no for that reason.
Yeah, that clarification was massively important, that he'd be voting no against that. And there's a loophole around this, and too, Matt Walsh had another good write-up on this that I just want to read real quick. So he said, don't listen to lies about Amendment 4. It will absolutely, without question, codify the right to abortion until birth. Anyone who supports the amendment is supporting a Soros-funded initiative to kill fully developed infant children. I will show you why. Here's the text from the amendment. No law shall prohibit, penalize, delay, or restrict abortion before viability or when necessary to protect the patient's health as determined by the patient's healthcare provider. Notice the or is the whole point here. The amendment enshrines the right to abortion. Oh wait, what happened there? Past viability if it protects the patient's health. Notice it doesn't say life. This isn't about abortion to protect the patient's life, but health. But what does health mean? Well, it means literally anything. Physical health, mental health, emotional health, financial health. In other words, it means that a woman can get an abortion for literally any reason as long as it is framed broadly and vaguely under the umbrella of health. And then basically what's determined to be the best option by her healthcare provider. Now this language too is similar to the Reproductive Healthcare Act that was passed in New York, I think 2017, 2018, sometime around there. And I remember that because you want to know what that did? The passage of the Reproductive Healthcare Act, which basically gave women the right to abort into the third trimester for health reasons, same language, is what got me into creating content. That's what launched Arkham, was me responding to that. Because I saw these demons, man, celebrating and lighting the Empire State Building pink as they celebrated their right to murder babies. It was one of the most disgusting and appalling things I'd ever seen. And I felt God telling me in that moment, no, you need to start using your platform, using your voice, and speaking out against this. So that's exactly what I did. And now flash forward here, and we have more people trying to do the same thing, using this euphemistic language so that they can get away with having an abortion for whatever reason they seem fit, they deem fit. And it's an atrocity. And now we don't need, President Trump pussyfooting around. We need him bold. We need him diligent. We need him unwavering in his support for life. And now I understand politically it would be challenging to come right out and say that you're going to ban abortion. He doesn't have to say that. He doesn't have to say anything. He could just keep saying that, kicking it back to the states and letting them handle it. And then we'll gain ground over time. But outright saying that you'll vote against you'll veto an abortion ban it's just a slap in the face to pro-lifers. And right now, you need our votes. You need us. Conservatives need us. You're not winning this election without us. You will win the election without pro-choicers. You will win the election without homosexuals. You will win without them. But you need us. So it behooves you to start listening to your constituents and actually try to appeal to them to win. I don't get it. For people that want to win so damn much, you sure as hell don't seem like it. Because you do nothing to appeal to your base. And it's just a losing strategy, man. It just is. It's not going to help him. It's only going to hurt him. So the fact that he had released a video stating that he'll vote no unequivocally, basically, is good news. It's an indicator to me that he's listening, and that he's hearing the feedback, and that he's trying to walk some of this stuff back. And hopefully he walks it completely back. And he remembers who helped get him in office. And he remembers the value, the worth, and the dignity of these poor little babies in the womb. And he starts to fight for them. Because they need a president who's going to fight for them. They need a president who's going to stand for life. They need a president who's not going to compromise on murdering children in the womb. And that's what we need. Because if we are the type of people who are willing to compromise on this issue, I just think it's bad news. It's a bad omen for the country. And, you know, I hope he walks some of this stuff back, and I hope that he refocuses, and I hope that he listens to the pro-lifers and Christians and starts to appeal more to the people whose votes he actually needs to win this election. All right, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Sorry for the late start. I hope you guys have a blessed night and a blessed weekend. Deuces.